Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Xenon progression series. Today we are going to be going through some of the gains that I've made and also kind of talking about some of the preparation that we've done for the upcoming 30%. Let's start off with some of the gains that we have made along the way so far. I think the first thing that I wanted to talk about was actually what happened on stream when we traded some bosses. If you guys haven't seen the last part, I did trade a few bosses with a friend of mine, and we basically just carry each other for hard lucid and hard will. That way we can try to get more chances at arcanes, and we have more chances at twilight marks as well. This week I was actually level 254, so I did actually have enough damage to also do Chaos Gloom. Now unfortunately I didn't get anything this week. I only basically got the droplets from lucid and will, 3 of each, which is a good amount, better than doing normal lucid and normal will for sure. But I didn't get anything. However, my duo did find something very exciting, which was his Dreamy Belt.
Armor box, weapon box, armor box, weapon box.
Oh my god, Dreamy Belt! I'm not sure if he'll be able to use it anytime soon, but it's pretty exciting that we managed to see a pitch boss on stream. Even though we didn't get anything from Lucid and Will, I did manage to actually get my first ever Dom Pendant also on stream.
Any believers? Dom Pendant? Dom Pendant, my first one! Let's go! First Dom Pendant. Yes, finally.
And just yesterday, I also managed to get my first Superior Earring.
262. Boop. Oh, look! Sub earring! wait. Push Sam. Oh, it is sub. Let's go! Yes!
And to finish off all the drops that I managed to get, I also managed to get a Black Bean mark from Chaos Pink Bean this week.
Yes! Black bean mark! Yes! Today's a good day. Yes!
So that basically fills out a lot of the slots that we are working on. We managed to get a new earring, a new face accessory, a new pendant, and now we're basically just waiting for Golux for the belt and the ring and the pendant. Now that still leaves us with 3 extra rings that we have to work with, and one of the ones that I'm hoping to get is a Carnage treasure from Princess No this week. Princess No is a boss that gives us the Carnage treasure, and it's a small chance of dropping it, so hopefully we get one soon. Even though we won't be able to use it because we do need to push it past 17 for it to beat out our event rings. Nevertheless, hoping for more of these drops because they are very consistent rings is never a bad thing. And they have 2 more ring slots. One of them I'm hoping to fill out with a slime ring eventually. Of course, Chaos Slime is pretty far away from me. But once I can trade this boss, then I'll probably try to get my hands on a slime ring as soon as possible. But that still leaves us with 1 ring to go. And what I've decided to do is work on my accessory crafting. One of the main issues that I'm having with this character is actually the spares of things. I don't have that many spares of a lot of the items I want to push. I only have 1 Black Bean mark, I only have 1 Superior Earring, I only have 1 Twilight mark and 1 Dom Pendant. So what I was thinking of doing was actually pushing either my Absolabs to a higher star, except maybe the glove. I want to try to push these up to a higher star on the 30%, or I can craft a bunch of Meister rings. And you can see here, I've been working on it, it's level 9 at the moment. And as expensive as it is to make the Meister rings, the fact that I can just craft these Meister rings makes it a pretty reasonable source of damage for me. I have a lot of these materials either on my main or across my mules, and I think by the time that I get to Meisters I should be able to craft maybe 3 or 4 of these, which gives us a reasonable chance of using our money on something that will be relatively permanent. Of course it is a 30% off and I do kind of want to safeguard this, so maybe I won't push it in this event, but it is something that I will keep in mind. It's just, I don't have any spares of anything on this character, and making progression on a character with no spares is quite difficult. I can do some things like prep some 21 stars. Like I said in the previous part, I could try to 21 this Pink Bean belt, but that doesn't guarantee that I'll be able to 21 a Superior belt right when I get one. It might be good damage until then, but I'd rather try to push items that I can try to finish. And this brings me back to my Absolab conversation. I've decided that for this character, because I want to progress it quickly, I'm gonna have issues with trying to Star Force a lot of my gear. And Absolab is one of the easiest pieces of gear in the game to actually push in terms of the Star Force. And the reason for this is because we have so many ways of getting fodder. One of the ways we can get it is just simply killing Hard Ranmaru each day, and we have a chance of getting his equipment, and all of his gear basically transfers straight into Absolab. And there are various NPCs around the world that can give us level 150 items that we can transfer into Absolab, for example Rudibus and from Magnus. So on the upcoming 30%, because it's so easy to try to push for Absolab, I might just consider going ahead and doing that. I will have to do a bunch of Dark World Tree and Scrapyard to be able to fodder into these Absolab equipment, but my main goal is mostly to try to be able to clear Hard Lotus and Hard Damien. I might even opt to do these in a party this week, just because I do get the chance of getting these armor boxes from these bosses. The armor boxes will save me a lot of time doing the weeklies, and it does give me a small chance at getting Pitch Boss as well. And of course, because they are the hard versions, I actually do get more cores from these bosses. I haven't run it this week yet, but you can see here I do have 4 of the Damien cores and only 1 of the Lotus cores. So if I do the hard version, I might get 3 of each, which would give me a lot of extra spares. I did some small upgrades on the Dom Pendant to make it usable as damage gear. You can see here I gave it a alright flame. It's currently sitting at 16 stars, and it has 6% all stat and 9 and 6% strength dex. I think this is roughly the same as 11% all stat for me, so it's really hard for me to beat this for cheap. So I'm just going to keep it at unique for the time being. As for the superior earring, it's still currently just sitting in my inventory. I haven't decided what I wanted to do with this so far, because there is a small chance that we can get another one for a spare. I don't want to upgrade this until after the 30% off or on the 30% off. I'll probably get it to 17 or 16, but if we somehow manage to get a second earring drop, then I might try to jam a fodder all the way to 21 and see if that can land. For now though, I'll just keep it here, and it probably won't make that big of a difference for any of my bossing so far. For the set bonus, you definitely need 4 of it to feel a huge difference, but I am still quite a ways away from that. You can see here my coins are only at 430. Still a long way to go. I need another 1,000 coins to be able to buy at least the pendant and the ring, and then also kind of hoping for a belt drop along the way. So it's been a few days, and I've just basically been focusing on training my Xenon for the time being. As you guys can see, my EXP has jumped quite a lot since the last time I recorded, and yeah, I just basically focused on trying to get my character to 260 as soon as possible, mostly so then I can unlock my 6th job and gain access to potentially going into a party with Hard V Healer. Ideally, I would like to get into a Hard V Healer party as well, just because that'll give me a little bit more chance of getting more arcanes, and hopefully as well trying to get into a Dark Nail party, but it's quite hard without 6th job. My damage right now is actually quite low, and 6th job is one of the biggest boosts that I can get in terms of my damage. But the main reason why I skipped ahead so far is because I trained a lot to recover my money. You can see right now I have about 2.6 bill, and a few days ago I had about 10. And the reason for this was because I decided to try my luck before the 30% Star Forcing event. I decided that I wanted to try Star Forcing on stream and see how far we can get some of our fodders, and I tried going for a lot of the Ranmaru items, specifically the shoulder, the cape, and the shoes. These are the 3 spots that I think I'm going to try to go for 21 star Absolab, but as it turned out, I blew up almost all of my spares for all of those slots. At the same time, it took up basically all of my money, so I went from about 9.5 bill to 0 pretty quickly, and now I'm just kinda trying to farm it back a little bit. I should have a good amount of money still, maybe 10 to 15 bill for the Star Forcing event coming up, so I'm not too fussed about the money, but it is a little bit disappointing that a lot of the spares actually blew up. The reason for this is because the main source of spares for me is Hard Ranmaru, and it is pretty random what items he drops between the gloves, the cape, the shoes, and whatnot. Yeah, not really having access to consistent fodders anymore because they all blew up off of the event. It's a little bit disappointing, but there's not much we can do. Even though I don't really like to spend off event, it did give me a little bit more of an idea of what I should prioritize. And the most important thing to prioritize for me at the moment is which fodders should I buy from this merchant. This merchant sells the shoulders and also the shoes, both at level 150, so these are basically the ideal items for us to buy for our fodders. And both of them cost about the same amount of money, and the fact that I kind of blew up all of my fodders made it a lot easier to decide which one of the items I wanted to buy. I basically have to either commit fully into the shoulders and then the shoes, or vice versa. Doesn't really matter which one, but I do know that I have to focus on one at a time. I can't be greedy. And as for the cape, we can't buy any 150 capes, so I just have to rely on either Chaos Akum giving me his capes, or I have to hope for Ranmaru to drop his 150 capes as well. Thankfully, it doesn't matter whether or not it is the Pirate or the Thief cape that he drops, both of them should be able to fodder into our Absolab cape, either way. Other than that, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. I have managed to gain a lot of new drops. The first one is that I managed to get a ring from Princess Nose, my first Carnage treasure. This ring I've talked about a little bit on stream, but basically it is going to be our best in slot because it can be star forced up to 21. But the issue is it's not going to be better than our event rings anytime soon. Our event rings give us a lot of stat, 40 stat and 25 attack, compared to the Carnage Treasure where you need to star force it all the way to 18 or 19 for it to actually be better. And also I still need to get it a good potential. So it is a low priority, but it's pretty nice that I have at least one copy of it. Another thing that I managed to hit on stream is actually my superior belt. Oh my god. I'm 2 set. Oh, there's no way. Yes, the streamer client. Very good. Thank you, Inkwell. The fact that I managed to get both the superior earring and superior belt before even buying a single piece is such a nice feeling, because now I can actually safely send both of these to 17 as soon as I can, and then once I can buy the 3rd and 4th pieces, it will just be a huge damage increase. I'm looking forward to being able to buy my superior pendant and then superior ring. Once we get all those items, we will be trying to upgrade them as best we can. I have actually upgraded my black bean mark. You guys can see here it has a reasonable flame and reasonable potential, very similar to my dominator pendant, so both of these items are kind of done. And I'm looking forward to the 30% off, just mostly going to try to get my abs lab gear and maybe even pushing my CRA gear. I'm looking to try to get this top to 21, but as I said, I'm only going to have about 10 to 15 bill, which is probably not going to be enough to work on too many items unless I get lucky. So I've been working on my accessory crafting a little bit, and as you guys can see, I'm almost at Masters. And once we unlock Masters Craftsman, we'll be able to create these Grey Warrior and Magician symbols and whatnot. All of these are really easy to make. All the materials we need, we basically already have. The only annoying thing is we have to make these Grey Magician symbols and stuff, which do require us to have intermediate iron crystals, which are a little bit annoying to get, but I believe I can just disenchant items we get from buying them from the vendor. So this one will be pretty easy, but I actually have to get there first. I do need to craft a little bit more to be able to get to master. I've just been making these shiny symbols. All of them are pretty easy to make, but I am running low on these materials here. And as you can see, I can make a bunch of these ones using the garnets that I have, but I am limited by these advanced iron crystals. And I've just been disenchanting items that are level 100 or so to try to get more of these, but it is taking some time. At the very least, we are making our way towards Meisters, so that we can start making some Meister rings. So today is finally Sunny Sunday for our Xenon, and we have a few IAs that we would like to improve upon. I would like to try to get my bossing IA to be a little bit better. Right now, we are currently having just attack speed +1, which is our preferred top line, and we're just going to be looking for some usable stuff on the 2nd and 3rd line. Not really expecting too much, because it is pretty expensive to roll for the further lines here. For our inner abilities for the 2nd and 3rd line, we are looking for 8% abnormal and 10% boss damage. Both of these can be pretty expensive to roll for, so we'll just lock in attack speed +1 and see what we can get. Ideally, we'll get one out of the two, and I might settle depending on what we get, because I also wouldn't mind trying to re-roll for my Meso inner ability, but we'll just see what happens here. We have just a little bit under 2 mil honor to roll. There's a reasonable chance we might get one out of the two, but getting all three of them would be pretty lucky. And there we go, we managed to get one out of the two lines. We managed to hit here 7% abnormal. Not the full percentage, which I believe is 8, but we did get one out of the two. So I want to spend a little bit more and see if we can manage to get the second one. I might sell on the first usable thing that I see, depending on how I feel, because I wouldn't mind re-rolling my Meso IA to maybe go for item drop on the 2nd line. But I think the item drop is not that big of a deal. It is a little bit more to drop while farming, but we already have a item drop IA here for our bossing, so I think it might be worthwhile us just re-rolling our legendary IA and just kind of hoping for the best for boss damage. So we didn't manage to get our boss damage line, but that's fine. I think that line is actually a little bit rare compared to some of the other ones inside the unique tier. So I'm not too upset about that. We managed to get one of the two lines, which I'm pretty happy about already. So our bossing line looks pretty reasonable. I do have some more IA medals here. I might just claim all of these and see if we can do something with those. I think I'm more inclined to go back for my farming IA to see if we can get some item drop. So I'm going to claim all these honor medals that I saved up from the event. And yeah, we'll see if we can get some item drop on our farming IA. And there we go, we managed to hit 9% item drop rate. It's not perfect, but I think this is good enough to settle on. With the remainder of the honor that we have, I'm just going to try to see if we can get lucky on this one. I have about 10 rolls left, and I think that'll be it for the IA afterwards. And that is the rest of our honor. And we are pretty honestly happy with the gains that we made on our IA. We have gained basically 7% damage here thanks to this abnormal status line. We managed to gain a little bit of drop rate as well for our farming inner. So overall, pretty happy with the gains. Wasn't expecting too much, and yeah, it turned out pretty well for us. To round out this video, let's start by doing some upgrades on our superior belt that we just got. The nice thing about the superior belt is that you don't need to do too much for it to be better, because you can see here it has a massive attack power increase. Even with 0 stars on it, it has 35 attack, which is actually just insane. And even the flat stats, 60 all stat, is so much stat. Even at 15 stars, the superior belt is a lot better with the matching potential as well. Now that we have a superior belt that we can wear, we can also just choose to upgrade this as well. I'm probably going to be using this at 17 for quite a long time, so I don't mind getting this up to legendary. I only have a few cubes left, and I'm trying not to spend too much on these cubes. We'll just see how far it goes, and if it tears up, that's good. Otherwise, we'll just leave it at where it ends. We didn't get any tier ups, but we did end up with basically 3 lines of decks, and that turned out to be pretty decent. So we'll keep that for the time being, and once we get to the 30% off, we'll Star Force this up to 17 to save a little bit of money. Another thing that I am considering doing is trying to see if we can do anything with the superior Golix earring. It's probably a little bit worse than these current earrings, just mostly because of the flame and also the potential. But once we get this to 16 as well, there is a good chance that it is better than the healer earrings. But again, I'm probably going to save out for the Star Forcing event to see if we can get this cheap. This will probably also go up to 17 star and then stay at 2-line legendary for quite a long time. And lastly, to finish off the video, let's have a quick look at our combat power now that we have equipped all the items that we've made these gains onto. We are sitting at just about 16.5 mil combat power, which is great. We still have quite a lot of items to improve upon. We have the superior earrings that we can put into this spot. We also have a bunch of items sitting at 16 or less. And we'll try to push them to 17 on the 30% off. And then if we have any spare money, let's try to go for some 21 stars. Mostly looking at the CRA here. This one's sitting at 19. So hoping to push that to 21. And then we'll work towards our Absolab gear as well to 21. And the main reason why I want to 21 the Absolab gear is because I don't want to wait too long for Arcanes. It will take a really long time. And if I do get armor boxes, I might consider swapping over to Arcanes. But I think it might be just easier if I'm trying to do a second character, just to do 21 Absolab. They're pretty good. They are a little bit worse than 19-star Arcanes, but they're very easy to work on because of the fodder. And we can just get basically infinite Absolab gear from doing our weeklies. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the series so far. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It helps me out quite a lot. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you all in the next one.